as a kid, you go out to a sandbox, more often than not, you're going to see a Tonka truck or some sort of piece of equipment sitting in that sandbox. And so it's kind of cool to wake up as a 35-year-old and go and play in the sandbox with Tonka trucks.
I'm Tyler Simmons. Welcome to In the Yard, a Western States podcast. From employees with decades of experience to customers working hard in the field. Join me for conversations with some of our industry's best and brightest to hear their stories in the heavy equipment world. Episodes will drop bi-weekly, so see you in the yard. Chase, first off, thanks for joining me today.
Yes, thank you.
I'm glad you're here.
Yeah.
Short notice,
Right.
for you just to jump up here and hang out on the podcast, but no stress at all.
No, it'll be fun.
Nice. So just do a quick introduction, man. Tell me a little bit about yourself and how long you've been at Western States.
Okay. I am Chase Sparks. Been married for going on 13 years this summer. I have 2 boys and a little baby girl. I enjoy spending time with them, coaching them, doing all of the dad things. Married my high school sweetheart, so we've been together for years and years, but she's a rock star. She deals with me, so she has lots of good qualities, obviously. Been at Western States selling heavy equipment for 3 years this May. I came from the fire suppression industry with an emphasis in mining. And it has been a transition that I would do 100 times over. So
That's
I
awesome.
really enjoyed it so far.
Nice. Married 13 years. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Dude, that's a huge accomplishment.
Right. Today.
Nice.
Nice.
That is today. That's a huge deal. And likewise, married my high school sweetheart too, kind of rounding out through that. It's pretty amazing
Yeah.
to grow up with somebody
Right.
in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways. It's a cool experience. So that's cool, man. So you've been here, what'd you say, 4 years, 3 years?
3 years in May.
3 years in May. So,
Yeah.
oh, wow. And so you were doing fire suppression stuff out at the mines.
Yeah.
What's fire suppression? So what is that?
Fire suppression is basically just a means of protection when it comes to an equipment fire. So emphasis on with MSHA is your bigger equipment. So any of your haul trucks, any of your big shovels, bigger loaders, anything like that. Multi-million-dollar piece of equipment, right? And so in the event of a fire, rather than having a catastrophic loss, they put a fire protection system on the machine that it can be automatically actuated through detection, or it can be actuated by a person via ground remote or remote in the cab. So it's just a means of protection for high dollar equipment. And in the event of, unfortunately, a fire, it would suppress a fire, and you'd have a little bit of cleanup and recharge of a fire suppression system rather than a rebuild or replacing a multi-million-dollar piece of iron. So
Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So been around the iron a little bit, the
Yeah.
industry a little bit, and then you came, so you got to Western States. What interested you about coming to work at Western States?
my father has actually been an employee of Western States for pretty much as long as I have been alive, or at least as long as I can recall. So
Oh, wow.
he's been mostly in service roles, rental roles, things like that. Not as much in the sales side of things, but I've been around CAT equipment at mines, been around CAT equipment or CAT employees my whole life, whether it be via family functions that the company puts on, or simply just acquaintances and friends that my dad has that come over to the house for functions. Good group of people. Obviously, the heavy equipment industry is kind of the backbone of infrastructure. I mean, they build roads, they build buildings, they do all these things. And so at the end of the day, it's kind of something that plays a role in our daily lives per se. As a kid, you go out to a sandbox, more often than not, you're going to see a Tonka truck or some sort of piece of equipment sitting in that sandbox. And so it's kind of cool to wake up as a 35-year-old and go and play in the sandbox with Tonka trucks. It doesn't get much better than that, to be honest. So
Dude, that's awesome.
yeah, it's pretty fun.
So you've been around heavy equipment your whole life.
Yeah.
One fashion or another.
In one way or another has been, yep. And CAT brand is deep in our family. So
That is
it's fun. It's fun to rub shoulders with my dad, work with him most days. But yeah, you take a lot of pride in what you do, and having been around CAT equipment for as long as I have, it's something that I take a lot of pride in, and I value what we do on a daily basis. So
That's pretty cool. So what's your first memory of Western States or Caterpillar?
First memory of Western States is just the old timers. It's kind of wild because for years my dad put on a 4th of July celebration, and people from Western States would come over, and they were friends, and we would celebrate, have a barbecue, light off fireworks, do the whole 4th of July celebration. And so it's a memory that goes back as long as I can remember. I remember years ago, Western States also had like a softball team for the local rec league, and it was another one of my first experiences. I would tag along with my dad and watch a whole bunch of heavy iron men out there playing softball, doing their thing, and it was fun to watch the bond outside of the office. But then anytime I would stop by, if I needed to grab $20 from Tad to go buy something, I would walk in, and I was always greeted, politely greeted, and would walk through, and it was like seeing my friends at that point, because the community here it's pretty awesome.
Oh, that's cool. So your first memory of Western States isn't heavy equipment or any of those types of stuff. It's the people
It's the people
and the culture.
Yeah, the people.
That's crazy, man. That's way cool too. And I think it's a power to the testament of why you're here today and why you're joining the family and working on the journey.
Yep.
That's pretty cool. Nice. So let's talk a little bit about your current job. So are you inside sales, outside sales? What's your current focus today?
My job title is retail sales, formerly inside sales rep. My focus is more of our smaller contractors, people that are coming in the door, looking for their first piece of equipment, somebody that's rented in the past, but they're now big enough to get their own machine. Smaller customers that aren't assigned to an outside rep and don't get called on as frequently as some of those bigger customers do. So in a lot of ways, I'm a lot of people's first experience with Western States or with CAT, because they're coming in first time. Hey, I'm interested in getting a piece of machinery. I do concrete work, and I'm big enough that I don't want to rent anymore. So let's look at getting me into my own machine. And so it's fun. I really enjoy the dialogue that I have with a lot of them. It's fun for them as business owners that they're making that step from having rented to possibly purchasing their first piece of equipment. Me being that first channel for them is pretty exciting, and it's fun to build those relationships from basically ground up.
That's cool, man. And man, you take a lot of pride in being that first guy.
It's fun. It's fun. First impressions are huge.
Yeah.
So hopefully most of them catch me on a good day, but I do like building that relationship. And then it's been pretty wild to see, because I've had customers that came in looking for a skid steer, and now they've grown to a point where they have a Mini X and they have a smaller dozer, and I've been instrumental in helping them achieve that, but ultimately their success is what's driven it. So it's fun to watch people in the community succeed in what they do as well. So it's a fun little relationship to build, and lots and lots of quality people out there. You get to the heart of our communities, and there is so much good that it's fun to be part of.
You get to be a part of literally new customers and new people starting their business, working on their goals,
Yep.
building the city you live in.
Yep.
I mean, that's and kind of you connected that earlier on in the conversation about, like, you know, heavy equipment's the backbone to a lot of the infrastructure that goes on around us.
Yep.
And one thing that I think is so cool is Western States' mission statement, right? Building our communities for a better tomorrow.
Right.
I mean, it's so cool we get to be a part of that.
Yep.
Every day, and help solve those problems and help the customers win.
For sure.
To build the schools, the hospitals, the roads, all the things that we use every day.
Every day. And more importantly, they're building a future for my children, which is something that I want to be part of too. I can say that, hey, I played a little role in this. It's a
Little role.
little role.
Yeah. So what's been one of your, your favorite customer stories or your favorite experiences with a customer so far?
There are too many to count, to be honest with you. I like I said, I deal with the smaller guys. So it's fun to watch the progress that people have. Mm-hmm. Western States and Caterpillar in general, we pride ourselves on being leaders in the industry, right? We want to provide you with the best piece of equipment, the best support, the best product, the most technology, all of that stuff. And in turn, it's been fun to see my customers buy a piece of CAT equipment, and they take pride in that. CAT's not cheap. Cat's not the least expensive option. It's an expensive option, but it comes with the support and the backing for it to be a premier product, right? And so when you see a customer come in and buy a Mini X, and his focus is fencing and doing some of this stuff, and then he calls me 6 months later, hey dude, I'm getting so big and people are loving what I'm doing. I need to grow, and I need to get a skid steer. I'm gonna start doing stuff in people's barns. I'm gonna start grading out barn floors and cellar floors and things like that. And you just watch their growth, and you can be a part of their growth. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's cool.
It's pretty fulfilling too. Like,
It's very fulfilling. I have one guy that, like I said, he bought a Mini X from me last summer. It was the next gen Mini. He'd operated Kubotas in the past. He'd operated a lot of our former models. He was excited to get into a 305 with the turbo engine, and feedback right away was, oh my gosh, this thing's a monster. Like, this is doing stuff that I've never been able to do before.
yeah.
Like I wasn't even aware of how cool this was. And it's fun to see their excitement. When I go to the grocery store, I think to myself, like, this is going to be another $500 bill, right? Yeah, I get a little bit of food out of it, but other than that, I leave there like another $500 out the door.
Yeah.
You see a customer spend $100,000 on a piece of equipment, and they call you excited about that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It is.
It's cool, and it's fun to be part of, and it's fun to see their growth. And I mean, in general, the successes that I'm able to be part of, whether it be getting them into a machine or getting them into the quality of machine that we have to offer, it's just fun.
Dude, that's awesome, man.
So
That's a pretty cool, perspective on that whole thing. And,
yeah,
and to John Menyon to win every day with that,
Right.
that's a pretty awesome spot to be.
it's fun. It's fun.
Yeah.
Couldn't be in a better spot.
That's cool, man. So you've been here, you're getting pretty proficient at your job nowadays, right? Because we're right when you get a new job, you know what I mean? Anytime you get a new job, especially switching industries,
Right.
not really switching industries, but jumping into sales, right?
Right.
So what did it first feel like when you walked in the door and you're like, oh my gosh, now I have to go sell and I have to jump into this thing and move forward? What was that first feeling or first experience you had?
The selling and the building relationships, it's natural for me because I'm the type of dude, like I could talk to a wall and have a pretty fulfilling conversation.
Oh, thanks.
Sorry.
I feel real good.
Right. So no, talking to people is the easy part.
Okay.
When I got here, I'd been used to working on shovels and large loaders, 777s, 785 haul trucks. And so when I got here, it was the amount of information and the amount of technology and just engineering that goes into a piece of equipment, even small stuff, skid steers, Mini X's, all that small stuff, like the amount of engineering that goes into them is incredible. And I remember still to this day, but my first 2 years in the role, like the fire hose, it couldn't have gotten bigger, right? It could not have gotten bigger. The amount of information that I have forgotten over the years is probably about 400 times the amount that I've retained. But I am getting to a point where I am very comfortable and confident in my abilities to get customers in the appropriate machine for their job or the task at hand. But just the amount of engineering and information that you have to deal with on a daily basis, it's insane.
Yeah.
I was blown away when I was a little kid and before I got into sales, like you would drive by an excavator and it had a bucket on it, and then I come here and I didn't realize that there were 700 different pin sizes depending on the bucket and what machine it was going on.
It was a bucket.
Whoa. I thought it was a bucket. You can put it on anything, right?
Yeah.
No, you can't. And so the amount of information that is needed for me to be proficient at my job and make sure I'm getting my customers in the appropriate equipment, it's large, but it's fun. The beauty of it too is the sales team that I have down here in Southeast Idaho, I probably relied on them more heavily than I should have. But again, going back to quality of people and culture of Western States, not once did I ever get any pushback on them or from them. They were more than happy to help. They were sending over documents. Hey, here's this cheat sheet that'll help you out here. Here's this cheat sheet that'll help you out here. My direct report, Denton Wild, probably the most influential human being that I have had in my professional career, goes out of his way to help me out on a daily basis. Anytime I need anything, I give him a call. But yeah, there's a lot of information. But again, being CAT and being Western States, we have the support to do it right and do it right the first time.
Yep. You know, we hold ourselves to high standards, and sometimes those high standards create different challenges between groups of people, but we're all swimming together, trying to help the customer win. And we're always willing to jump in and help each other win every day.
Correct.
And that's one of the cool things that happens in our culture, in our business. And we're pretty fortunate to live in that every day.
Right.
At least I feel like I'm very fortunate to live in that every day.
Every day.
And Denton is a total stud. He's a rock star and gets after it. And it's cool that he's taking you under his wing. He's been selling machines for quite a while too. Right, and been in the industry and passing that knowledge on to you as well, and it's cool how we do that as a business, right? We teach and we grow, and so it took you about 2 years to feel settled, right, and ready to rock. Is that about right?
Yeah, I would say 2 years to feel semi comfortable.
Yep. There you go.
Obviously, CAT offers an expansive option, an expansive variety of equipment.
Yeah.
We don't just focus on ag. We don't just focus on small products. I mean, we go from your farm to your concrete guy to your mine site that's moving hundreds of thousands of pounds of materials a day. So the lineup of equipment is vast. I mean, there's a bunch of it. The knowledge needed to support all of that is huge.
Yep.
And when you don't work at Western States, you don't see the behind the scenes of what it takes to support these products. And then once you get in and you start working in it and living it, you understand that every position, from a warehouse guy in parts to the most experienced field guy at the mine site, every one of them plays a vital role. And ultimately, the end goal is making sure that our customer's taken care of. And it's fun to see the process and how just important every role is and can be. So,
and that's pretty cool. And the cool thing is too, is that I think that this gets missed a little bit in career growth, is it takes time to become proficient in our industry, right? Oftentimes we'll see people come into roles, or even myself personally, right? I've changed jobs several times at Western States, and growth opportunities in that first 6 months, you're like, what did I just do? We hold ourselves to such a high standard. So you get that instantly in the culture, oh, you have to win because that's the way we play. And then you're like, but my knowledge is here. And then you're like, oh my goodness. And this overwhelmed passion thing kind of hits you, and you're just like, what do I do with my hands? Right. You almost get into that. Right. And then it kind of shifts through gears, and then you start, growing with knowledge from there. But it takes quite a while to become proficient in heavy equipment and to help customers win every day.
It does. It takes a lot.
Yeah.
It takes a lot.
Yeah. You've persevered through that, and now you're on the flip side of that, which is a ton of fun.
Yes.
And now you get to have, enjoy some of the knowledge levels and continue to learning in other areas, because that's the one thing that's cool, is it just never ends.
Right. Yeah. No, one of the things that I've noticed is CAT takes pride in what it offers.
Yeah.
Western States takes a lot of pride in being the dealership that supplies CAT machines to customers. And I can tell you, every day that I wake up and get ready in the morning, and I put on my Western States branded apparel, I put on my CAT hat, and as soon as I leave my door, the expectation is that we're the best and we're going to be the best. And sometimes that's hard to navigate, but at the end of the day, the result is going to be the best. Yep. And I love that expectation. When your bar is the best, it's what we're going to do. No questions asked. We're going to achieve it. We're going to do it. And some days it's hard, but it's fun. It's fulfilling. And ultimately, when I get home and hang my cap up at night, we did it.
Yep.
We're here, and we're the best for a reason. And it's because the pride that we take in what we do every day.
Yep. That's pretty cool, man.
I built a lot of relationships, and there's a lot of people that count on me from a customer standpoint. So I don't want to let them down.
Yeah.
We talked and we found a machine that was going to suit you for what you were doing, and you trusted me in that. And so with that trust being built, I'm here. I'm always here. I'm going to be here until the day I die, and you're going to be able to count on me.
Yep.
That's what again, going back to what Western States is about. We're ready when you are.
Yep.
So let's go.
I love that. I love that. All right, let's change gears here for just a minute, because I've been wanting to talk about this new 255 that came out, this new next gen skid.
Yeah.
Right. I've been in the skid steer world for a while, but I was a technician when I started, so I started turning wrenches on B model skid steers. 226Bs were like our bread and butter over there in Boise.
Right.
I'm working on them all the time. So I think skid steers are just cool by nature because they're so versatile, right?
Right.
So let's talk about that new 255, man. What do you think of it? What are your initial thoughts, and kind of what's your experience been with it so far?
The 255 and the 265, for that matter, they are a phenomenal machine. Cat hit it out of the park with the redesign on that skid steer. Some key features or some key changes that I would highlight. Fuel tank was taken out of the engine compartment and moved to a side tower. So your fill station is not right by the engine, it's on the side of the machine. When they moved that fuel tank, it allowed them to drop the engine block on the machine. So center of gravity skyrocketed, and you'll see it on spec pages that lift heights, lift capacities, everything have increased as a result of that. Your back window is now a usable back window compared to former models. I know that was a gripe of a lot of people, was it has a back window, but
Yeah, when you drop that engine down.
what's it about?
Yeah.
Now you can actually look over your shoulder and look out a window.
Yep.
Along with the redesign of the machine, loader arms, there were a lot of customer complaints that bucket had to be flush on the ground or else I was stuck in this thing because of the design of the D series loader arms. With the redesign on the loader arms, you now have a little bit of leeway that you don't have to be flush on the ground. You can get in, get out. They have an electrical clip that you can remove and simply lift the front door off the hinges. So in the summertime months, or when working on job sites where there needs to be a lot of communication with ground guys, now it's as simple as just taking a door off, throw it to the side, put it in the storage until we're done with the job, and there can be communication straight out of the front of the machine. Redesign of the cab is amazing in my opinion. It is now a cab that will give you enough room for bigger guys that you can work in it for 8 to 10 hours a day and be comfortable all day long. A lot of the features are going to be similar. However, it's going to be easier to navigate because you no longer have to reach up overhead to do rocker switches. You have a touchscreen display, but you also have the option to navigate that display through joystick button presses.
Oh, wow.
So I no longer have to take hands off of joysticks, which is a big safety perk. So I can do all of that at my fingertips. As far as the machine goes, one of the offerings on the new 255 is a ventilated seat, so you kind of get that new car feel.
Oh, there you go.
You not only does it heat you in the wintertime, but in the summertime on those hot days, I can throw on the ventilation and it'll keep me cool so I don't sit in there and get sweaty and everything. So creature comfort changes were huge on the machine. Performance changes were also amazing. As far as the machine goes, though, I like it because with changes that they did to joysticks, we now have versatility. So Bobcat guys can't say that, hey, I have to do multiple button presses to get these functions. Not anymore. We can do that now.
Yep.
Some of the old guys that said that the Cat machine just didn't have enough power and this X brand did, go look at our torque increase. So, I mean, overall from top to bottom, amazing redesign. When you sit in it, you feel like you're sitting in a machine that came out in 2025 versus something that was a little bit older. So overall, Caterpillar, kudos. You guys hit the ball out of the park with that redesign. Great job.
Dude, that's awesome, right? And what was cool is you're going through that, all the operator improvements that they made, right? It wasn't just performance specs and, we do this and this a little bit better, right? I mean, that redesign just to the rear window, and how they moved that fuel tank, dropped that engine block. And I mean, that just opened up so many things, just that one simple change.
Yeah. Oh, and other kicker that I forgot to mention, DPF emissions is a huge thing in our day and age, but fit for life DPF. So you no longer have to worry about an expensive filter replacement or burning it off and getting it back in. It's fit for life. So you can scratch that expense, you can scratch that worry off the notebook completely because it's a fit for life DPF. So that is a huge improvement from the former model machine that we offered.
Yeah, and I mean that reduces the overall maintenance cost of the machine, right? I mean, and you kind of hit, you know, when we were talking about it a little bit ago, you know, Caterpillar's definitely not the cheap, right? So we might be the higher capital cost or the higher, you know, purchase cost, right? One of the things that's really cool about what we're focused on as a group and Caterpillar as a team right now is lowering that maintenance cost and operational cost post-sale, right? So you're going to make a higher initial investment potentially, but then over the cost of the machine, the goal is to be less cost per hour. Right? So you can be productive and you can bid it to the jobs and manage to those jobs to be productive. And that DPF change up is one of those examples of CAT focusing on reducing that cost.
Correct.
Right? To make that maintenance cost there dialed in. So that's pretty cool.
Exciting. It's a great machine.
Good. Customers loving it so far. Good customer feedback.
Great customer feedback. It is, again, like I said, the guy that's sitting in the seat every single day is more comfortable, easier to operate, pretty much all of the above. And so before, when an owner would buy this machine and the operator wasn't happy with it because he was the one that was stuck with it, this is a machine that is complete 180 of that. Owner buys it and the guy's like, dude, I choose to operate this one today because it's comfortable, it's convenient, it's easy. Again, too many creature comfort things to mention, but you're gonna enjoy sitting in it and operating it for a day at a time. So it's exciting.
That's pretty awesome, man.
Yeah.
It's cool when we get stuff like that around and new product that comes out like that and get to introduce it and get customers going on it and make them aware of that.
Yeah.
It's a pretty cool spot to be in, especially when your passion is helping your customers win and you've got a machine lined up like that. That's like the perfect harmony, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's fun.
Good, man. Cool. So what do you do outside of work, man? What do you do for fun outside of work, outside of Western States?
Hang out with my friends, hang out with family. My boys, they're finally to the age where they're starting to play sports and things like that. So I have two boys at home, but I coach baseball, basketball, and football, whether it be for my 8-year-old or my 7-year-old. So I have 20 kids.
Oh my goodness.
that I go spend my time with. Mondays and Wednesdays are currently basketball practice. Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays are currently baseball practice. We're going to start a spring flag football season up here soon, so I'll be doing that. So I chase my kids around, but I find complete fulfillment and joy in it. So it is awesome. Sports were a big part of my upbringing, and my dad coached me and taught me the ropes, and it's fun to full circle moment. I get to go do it with my kids. And so 99% of my time is consumed with my children, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's fun.
That's pretty awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's good. That's pretty cool that there's some work-life balance there with Western States too.
It is.
I'm perceiving a little bit, right? Because you get to go coach some stuff in the evening and come do what you do every day at work. And that's a pretty cool spot.
Yep. If my children have an event, I am expected to be there. I'm expected to be in attendance, whether it be them receiving an award at school or simply just an assembly where they're singing the national anthem. I'm expected to attend, and if I can't make it, that is a Chase reason. It's not a Western States reason, because my boss has made it perfectly clear that I'm expected to be at my family's functions, and they support me in that. So yeah, it's cool.
Dude, that's awesome, man. That's pretty cool. Yeah, because it's a busy thing, and our customers rely on us every day, and to be able to build that balance between those two is a good spot to be in and a good place to be, honestly.
Yep.
That's one of the coolest parts I like about it.
Yeah.
There. Well, man, thanks for jumping on with me, Chase.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. I appreciate the conversation. Get to know a little bit more about you and talk about that skid steer.
Yeah.
Nice, man. You got anything else for me? Any thoughts or closing remarks?
No, I appreciate you I appreciate you asking me. It was fun. I was nervous. Hopefully, not too much has to be edited out of there, but it was fun.
Oh, no good, man.
It's fun. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable. It's a good spot to be. So
Heck yeah.
I appreciate it.
I live in that spot, and that's where I usually hang out, right? So
Yep.
that's how we grow.
Yep. So,
Cool.
no, I appreciate it.
All right. Well, thank you, Chase. I appreciate it, bud.
Thank you.